Hey, this is Ryan from WebEminence.com. I've built over 100 websites for small business clients, and I often get the same question after a site goes live. People usually ask the question, will I rank in Google for my relevant keywords? And people often leave out the word relevant and just ask, will I rank for all my desired keywords? And I have to answer this question by giving realistic expectations, because a new small website of only 5 pages or so can't expect to rank for tens or hundreds of keywords, or for keywords that are even moderately competitive. Let me show you what I mean with an example. Let's assume this diagram represents a simple 5-page website for a recovery coaching business in San Diego. And let's say the name of this company is True North Recovery Coaching. And let's say they're located in San Diego, California. And they have the typical pages on their website: home, about, services, blog, and contact page. And these pages may change, but a lot of the sites that I've done over the last few years for small businesses have pages similar to this. Now, one of the main ways that search engines rank the pages of your website is just simply based on the information on the page. So in the case of this website, it's about True North Recovery Coach in San Diego. So let's just look at what each page will be about most likely on a typical small business website. So your homepage is probably going to be optimized for True North Recovery Coaching, just like the title of the business. And it'll probably also talk about the fact that it is in San Diego. Your About page probably will have information about the company, so it'll mention True North again. Probably will have information about your staff. So let's just say, for example, your name is Michael Jackson. Hopefully you have a more unique name than that. That will help for SEO. But let's just say, for example, your name is Michael Jackson. So that's probably going to be mentioned on your About page. If you have a services page that mentions your different services, you will probably talk about recovery coaching on that page. You might mention a few other services that you offer. For example, life coaching. And I know some recovery coaches offer sober companion services, but these will probably be small compared to recovery coaching will probably be the main thing you talk about on your services page. A lot of small business websites do not have a blog, or they don't regularly update a blog, or they only have a few posts. So we'll talk about this in a minute. And the contact page may mention San Diego, probably talks about your location. So obviously you'll have a lot more content than this on the page. But if a search engine is looking at a typical 5-page site, in this case, these are the keywords that are probably going to be very prominent on the page. So a search engine like Google is going to focus on these keywords to rank your page for specific keywords. So if we look at what words are prominent on this site, first of all, we have True North showing here, shows here. It's on the About page again. It's probably on the contact page again. So it's very likely that if people type in True North, this site is going to have a good chance of showing up. So this is a good example of branding, and having a unique name like True North is going to help a recovery coach in the San Diego area show up when people search for their specific name. Another word that is obviously prominent is recovery coach, which shows up in the title, on the home page, on the services page as well. Probably will show up on the About page. I'm sure you'll mention recovery coaching there as well. We have San Diego that shows up in the title of the site, on the contact page, and probably on the home page. And then we have the name of the owner or the staff on the About page here. In this case, it's Michael Jackson. That's only mentioned once. Maybe it's mentioned somewhere else on the page too, like the contact page, for example. So you can start to see which keywords are mentioned throughout the site, like True North 4 times, recovery coach 3 or 4 times, San Diego 3 or 4 times. So obviously, if I'm a search engine looking at this site, I'm probably going to rank it for True North Recovery Coach, San Diego, Recovery Coach San Diego, things like that. So there's like 5 or 6 words here, and maybe different combinations of those words that I would expect a small business website like this to rank for. And there are obviously a lot of other factors at play here, like off-page optimization and how new your site is, how many links you have pointing to your site. But in general, this is kind of what I have seen small business sites, or how I've seen small business sites perform in search engines when they are brand new. And it's really what a small business owner can expect to rank for when they make a new website live. And the real point here is that you probably can't expect to rank for a lot more keywords than these. For example, if you mention sober companion services and life coaching on your site, but you only mention them in a really short paragraph on the services page, there's a very low chance that you're going to get ranked for any meaningful keywords around those topics with just mentioning them in a one paragraph or so. And you probably also can't expect to rank all over the nation where you're located for a term like recovery coach, but you might expect to rank when people type in something like recovery coach San Diego, which is a lot less competitive and a lot more specific. So a site like this one, I would reasonably expect it to rank for keywords like True North Recovery Coach San Diego, maybe Michael Jackson Recovery Coach. And that would be more likely to happen if the name was less common than Michael Jackson. I'm just using that as an example. But let me show you a few options to increase the number of keyword targets you can have on your page to hopefully increase the number of keyword positions and keyword rankings that you get in search engines, which will ultimately increase the amount of traffic you're getting. And all of these tips I'm going to give you are going to revolve around creating more content for your site, and that does take work. But in reality, you will have to create more content in order to get more rankings and positions in search engines. So one option for a small business website who wants to rank for more types of services would be to create more pages under the services heading. So you might have a category on your site of services, and then you're going to, instead of listing each service on your services page, you might link from your services page to a few different services pages that are focused on one topic or one of the services that you offer. So for example, one of these might be life coaching, one of them might be sober companion, and then one of them would be recovery coaching, which is your main service. And then you could have more depending on how many services you have. But if you were to build 3 separate pages, each one with content for each of these topics, instead of cramming all of these different services onto one services page, you're going to have a better chance of ranking in search engines for these 3 topics. So you might rank for sober companion services in San Diego, and you'd have a better chance of ranking for life coaching in San Diego than if you were to just put all of these services in one short paragraph each on your services page. And again, once you have these pages created, there's more you can do in terms of off-page optimization to help these sites rank higher, or to help these pages rank higher in search engines. But I'm not going to get into that in this video. You can watch my other video on off-page optimization for more information about that. Another good way to build more content on your website is creating blog posts on your blog and actually writing blog posts on a regular basis, even if it's just once a month. So you could write different blog posts on different topics having to do with recovery coaching in San Diego. Like maybe one of them has to do with recovery facilities in the San Diego area. And maybe one of them is just 10 tips for recovery. So you could write many posts, and just like creating more services pages, each of these blog posts on your site is going to have the ability to rank in search engines for the different topics that they cover. And if you do this consistently over time, you could end up with hundreds of blog posts that are all ranking in search engines and getting traffic back to your website. So once they land on a blog post, they could easily land on your services page or on your about page to learn more about what you do. So the bottom line here is, instead of having the 5 static pages on your site that are only going to rank for about 5 keywords that I mentioned in the beginning, you can add to it by adding several services pages, maybe 3 or 4 services pages that are going to rank for those specific services. And obviously it doesn't have to be services, but if you sell products, this might be products. And then you can continually write blog posts, as I mentioned. So you might have 5 to 10 blog posts in a few months. And over a year or so, you might have 100 or more blog posts, which are going to give you more positions in search engines and more traffic. So hopefully that answers the question that many small business website owners ask, will I rank for my relevant keywords? Most small businesses and many of my clients will just rank for 5 or so keywords that I mentioned in the beginning. But the ones who create more pages, like services pages, or continually write for their own blog or even for other blogs are going to create more traffic and more positions in search engines. If you have any questions about this, feel free to post a comment. Obviously, I'm simplifying. There's many different variables that could be at play here and many other SEO factors that come into play for ranking in search engines. So make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Watch some of the other videos in my SEO playlist for more information on ranking in search engines. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next video.